Rare and you alone.
Hi, everybody. All right, so this one is making me look like a boy. The people that are making me look like a boy, the phenotype genetically, or is a white woman that constantly harasses me from Plano, Texas, a white man from Plano, Texas, and another white man from Plano, Texas. They do insertion through manipulation, gene manipulation, or DNA manipulation. And then they insert through there, especially right before I'm about to eat, vice versa. Um, how they get the bodies and the people, I'm not sure. Oh, I do know that at some point there are corpses involved, but basically they manipulate uh, DNAs and different types of genes, synthetic or non-synthetic toward with mine. They do those manipulations. I'm still learning a lot. Okay, I've learned a lot over the past few days, and a lot of the things that was actually saying, I was right on. I just didn't know a lot of the technicality of it, but I did get some advice, and yeah, I'm on the right track. I'm on the right track with doing every single thing I'm doing, with reporting it to the proper authorities. Which it is, in fact, the police are actually out of jurisdiction when it comes to gene editing, sequencing, and DNA theft and mutation. It is something that is fairly new, and it is only in the FBI's field right now, which is fairly new to the FBI. So, um, as far as so I am um, doing proper channels with reporting, going to medical evaluations, doctors, experts, scientists, researchers, also psych evaluations, experts as well, reporting. I am going. I am reaching out to cyber forensics experts as well, reaching out with them with regards to the gene editing, electronic surveillance, harassment, as well as cyber cyber stalking, gang stalking, harassment, identity theft, device manipulation, and theft with cyber surveillance with devices and accounts. That's common. Almost everybody's going through something like that. I also have a police report with regards to that. That is something the police can handle. And I did have detectives in Texas. So that's all I'm going to say. But since I left Texas, they're waiting on me to do the continuation with giving them the update from Maryland and additional information I have from Texas. So basically, a lot of these people they followed me to Maryland, and they continue with the covert harassment and electronic manipulation, which is actually rare, but is actually available to people outside of government agencies and medical staffs, and few law enforcement divisions that would have um, that equipment. People can illegally get access, and actually I was advised there are actually multi thousands of people that are victims of this, multi thousands to a million across the world, and I am one of them. I had no idea. A lot of them, they may be classified as delusional or having a form of psychosis or schizophrenic. They are not. It's fairly new, but they are passing aggressive laws. The state of California just recently passed a law this year with regards to electronic harassment. Um, the government is has been passing aggressive laws with identity theft in the United States. Outside of the United States, in the world, they have been passing aggressive laws or bills and trying to get things passed with human rights, such as invasion of neural rights through neural technology, whether it's through medical experts using it the wrong way, or whether it's research institutes using it the wrong way without someone's consent. There are people that are also doing this illegally. Human cloning, reproductive cloning, they are trying to get aggressive laws to stop that. Therapeutic cloning, they are trying to get aggressive laws to stop that. Human trafficking, sex trafficking, drug trafficking, slave trafficking, which is a form of human trafficking. They across the world, they are trying to get aggressive laws across all of that. And what these people are doing to me, they are diving into all those sectors to try to get a form of not just profit gain, but also a form of power, to have, with just invading somebody's right and having that dominant control over someone's life. It could be a form, in my case, of revenge based off of a previous reputation that I had with my son years ago, being an assertive, good parent with standing up for him with his rights from systemic racism, from my son being in advanced placement and the only um, still scholastic scholarly school that was very competitive to get into in his district, and he got in as the only at in that school year, at that class, the only African American boy that was in, and they gave him such a hard time, but he did well. And then when he stepped down, they still harassed him from there. I have actually documented reports. There are things that are in writing, there are things that are in video that was said about my child, and I'm not going to go into details, but the district is aware. The superintendent is aware. I thought things were squashed. There wasn't anything that was filed and said really in harm's way. You know, I let things go. It scar my son emotionally and psychologically. Well, emotionally at least, yeah, it did. But we've moved on from that, and that was years ago. And so apparently, word went around. People were talking around. Some people were talking around the neighborhood, and yeah, it started this reputation of me, of this aggressive parent that goes around and says things about, to try to make sure she has control with her child. And they harassed my son and I from there. And then, of course, they were jealous and envious of my son from there, not just with his scholars, his smarts, but his athleticism and also his very good look physique. He's a military child. His father is in the military. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going into details about anything further. He is a military child. They know it. They knew it before they did what they did. He has those physiques, those athletic physiques. It's in his DNA. They took advantage of that and started to go ahead and manipulate him from there, mutate him from there, as well as me. I've had some time where I went ahead and, I got myself, more physically fit. I'm into a holistic lifestyle. I am vegan. I take very good care of my health. I work in the healthcare field. I've been working in the healthcare pharmaceutical insurance field for a total of over 20 years. And I also have a science degree, a health science degree. So I know a lot. I've also been in senior leader position, especially in behavioral health. So I know a lot of these things. Granted, they knew some of this, they did not know all of it. They knew I worked at a private practice. But with all of that being said, they still went ahead and they took advantage to manipulate and to try to edit and um, destroy a lot of our cells, our ancestry cells. And so they did this, and doing this, it cost a lot of just deterioration, which can cause a lot of questioning and doubts. Who am I? Behavioral wise, linking up with how I look, identity wise. Um, who am I as a person? Am I this just random person who walks around, acts a certain way just based off of how she looks? Suspicions of how she probably acts, and then of course those looks, which they know with a form of deterioration, can definitely be influence of how people treat you, how you get things done, how you get things accomplished, also how you word and say things. Even the tone can go ahead and have a certain type of stigmatism and a type of unconscious and conscious biasness toward things. Even you watching this video, you have your conscious and unconscious biasness, and a lot of things are factual, like it's given, it's there. You can see, there's definitely some things going on with the things that I say. How I look and my behavioral is questionable, and you know what, you're right. But keep in mind that this is a form of manipulation, not just with the body, with the gene sequencing, but also a form of um, unwanted, unwanted mental intrusion of privacy, which is neural through technology nowadays, which is neural surveillance. And the Neural Ethics Committee is working on different forms of that, starting with things in the medical field, making sure that patients are not taken advantage of, the research institutes, and then making sure people who have access to this technology, their neural activity and mental activity data is not taken advantage of. And then you have people outside of that are using that technology as a form, as in my circumstance, they're doing that as well, form of neural invasion that way. So I the motive is crazy. There's different motives as to why. To me, it's not enough. You spending multi thousands to $1 million doing that, but it does indicate that there is a gang of our community of people that are doing that because it's a lot of money. It's an investment. So I do know that it's a gang, and it's proof that it's a gang. Even when I'm on Instagram, there's different devices and IP addresses logged in at the same time, and I'm using one device on social media, or my accounts, and then different things like that. There's also different proofs, different ways too. When I'm, especially when I was in Texas, I would be going somewhere, and then something would be happening where I would go to a store, and then someone reported something happened, but they thought I was this place when I was actually another place. Different things like that, manipulation of my identity, impersonation, and so forth. They're doing all that. Identity theft, I reported to the Federal Trade Commission, all that. Attorneys. So they also are doing these things to my family. They've robbed my family so many times in Texas. And so they are victims as well. And in Louisiana, Louisiana is also heavily involved. I am from Louisiana. So look at my nose, you guys. They made it downward, and then they actually went ahead and widened out my cartilage. Now, you guys noticed that, but they really did this thing. Um, I do have some congestion, a lot of congestions, actually, post-nasal and congestion, and a little bit of cold, but even when it's cleared, I can't breathe. And then so the ENT doctor said it definitely looks like some obstruction there, and it is my nose changing. So I have a consultation with a doctor. So these things are expensive. Forensic doctors, specialists, even with insurance, it's expensive, and they know that. They know how I am. When they intrude, When they invade my privacy or our privacies prior to doing all these things, they know this stuff. They know this stuff before they take advantage of you and your family's lives. So, beat up wig. I have some very long hair. Um, I've been in Maryland for over a year. I love it. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to tell you where specifically where I'm at in Maryland. I love it. I'm getting a little homesick, but I have to keep fighting. I'm not going to stop fighting. My heart is set somewhere to live long term. God has revealed that to me and put that in my spirit since I was a little girl, and I'm going for it. But I have to give Maryland a chance right now. So we'll see how this goes. I have to fight for me and my baby. He's 19 years old now, and they're in his head like crazy. I think his dad reached out to me yesterday night for the first time. I tried to reach out to him for over a month. So I'm glad his dad is involved. Hopefully his dad can give me some relief because he knows some people. But I don't think they knew before they did this to me and his son that his dad knows some people. They just saw me as a single parent, and that's one of the main reasons why they manipulated me, because my reputation was known as a single parent, single young parent. Uh, but well, Texas has a lot on their hands. But you know what? Also, so does the world. Because this is crazy. And for you guys that saw my previous videos, you saw the before and after. And then there's one video where I show a series and a series of all these different phenotypes, all these different faces and, and skin tones and body shapes and, uh, all these different phenos of myself. You see the drastic changes, and it's not just within a year or two, it's days. One day I look like this, the next day I look like that. Oh yeah, I didn't know about it. And so it's been reported. But I just have to keep pushing this out. I told you guys I would modify this page. It won't look as gruesome and hateful. It's very gruesome, and that's what they wanted. A lot of times it's more of my venting out of just frustration or just proof cry out for help when they're torturing. It is torturing, it's psychological, and it is um, physical. Um, and a lot of the things you don't probably necessarily need to see. So I did say I was going to tone it a whole lot down. That's a promise, and I will keep that promise. Um, Keep also in mind that a lot of times when there's different manipulations, there's different people, and there's different conversations, different tones. A lot of my lives, when I actually have more time to speak, I can be a little bit more civil, and the shorts are just so, you just hurting me. You have to hurry up and get it on in seconds. They're doing this. Look, see that? See that? It's supposed to be for you to get a lot of hits or something. I do want to get that, and I'm still fairly new to social media. I'm not gonna lie. Um, I have to learn some things. I'm actually very good on the regular side. I guess what I mean is like just be myself, not a victim side, like pleading like for help or just for people to hear my story, like an advocacy side. I don't know, I'm not. I just randomly talk. And I guess, that's all I need at first, or right now, initially, I guess. But at some point I do need to have some advocacy taught. I'm gonna have to get some techniques. I'm gonna have to get someone to teach me. One second, guys. I'm gonna look at something. I'm still here, just pausing. All right, guys. So I'm sorry. I had to try to take care of something. So I think what I'm gonna do is, I'm sorry for the wait. Actually overwhelmed. It's good that I say these things, but I said these things, but I'm overwhelmed. I'm trying to handle something before things close. So I will stay tuned. I'll do another part. All right. Bye.